All right, joining right now is Eternal MMA bantamweight slash featherweight Justin Van Heerden. Justin, thank you for joining me today. You just weighed in for your fight, but something happened. Explain.
Yeah, so obviously, thanks for having me on. So I just weighed in for the Eternal MMA 57 for the bantamweight tournament. So initially, I was scheduled to fight on the Saturday night in a featherweight matchup. And then on a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, I went to the gym. We found out that someone was out of Trent Girdham, unfortunately, wasn't able to be part of the tournament, and he had to withdraw. So I stuck my hand up, spoke to my team, spoke to my coaches, to Joe, to Geordie, the fight dietitian, everyone like that, and we were like, okay, let's do it. Let's put our hand up. Let's go for it. We made the plan to do that, and then so obviously I got down here yesterday. And then last night we began our sort of weight cut. We knew it was going to be a bit more than what we would have had for featherweight. We knew it was going to be a bit taxing. So initially it started off good. We were trimming the weight pretty easily. It was going great. We decided to pull up sort of halfway through the cut, and we're like, okay, we'll get some rest and we'll finish it off in the morning. And this morning was much of the same. Started off great, and then I got to about 63 kilos, 63.8 kilos. So I was like a couple of kilos off. And then my team, the dietitians and everyone like that, and everyone around me were kind of like, okay, we're going by the numbers, going by the data, what we're doing now, if we were to proceed, it's not going to be like healthy. Like, we could probably do it and you could probably push yourself mentally because you're going to be able to do that, but it's not going to be healthy for you. So they decided to pull it up, stop the cut, and we notified Cam from Eternal. We notified everyone else, and then we kind of were like, okay, we'll go there, we'll weigh in, we'll still do all that sort of stuff, and then we'll see if we can potentially still make the fight happen. And then obviously my scheduled opponent, Sean Etchell, his team had a discussion with the other teams involved in the Grand Prix, and with everyone else and with the promoters, and they came to an agreement of potentially doing a sort of rehydration cap so that I could only be a certain weight, rehydrate to a certain weight. And obviously my team, my coaches, the professionals that I have around me were like, well, we could do that, but it'll still leave me compromised because, I could still go in there, fight, and potentially things would just be fine and whatever, but there's always a chance that something could go wrong. And then everyone's going to be like, oh no, well, we had an opportunity to do the right thing and we chose to ignore that. So for me, it's very difficult because obviously I want to fight. I'm willing to put my body on the line to make the weight and still to fight. But I've got to listen to those people around me who have that knowledge, who know a lot more than me when it comes to that sort of stuff. So, it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is, and it's unfortunate, but, I took that big risk. I threw the attempt out there. We cut a lot of weight to even make it to that point. So, I can sit here and dwell on it and be upset, but I understand the other guys and their teams and their point of view, obviously, initially, and why they would make the decision that they've made, and I respect that completely. So, obviously, there's no ill will coming from my end at all. However, potentially I'm trying to see if there's a chance that we could get a replacement opponent for myself to fight on the Saturday night where I was originally scheduled to fight on Eternal MMA 58. So my team, my coaches, my support network around me they're dealing with the promoters at the moment, trying to see if they can sort of make something happen. So I'm sort of optimistic that potentially we could work something out. And I already said to them, I was like, weight's not an issue or whatever the thing is. If the person wants to, if they find me a lightweight, a welterweight, a middleweight, heavyweight, it doesn't matter. If someone wants to step up and fight me, I've stepped up so many times before so that other people can get a fight, then I'm going to have nothing but respect and admiration for that person and be excited to get in there and do what I do. So that's sort of where we're at the moment. And the only other sort of development's been my original opponent. We even offered it out to him to where my team would fly him up here to make it happen, so the fight could still go ahead. And unfortunately, he's not on board to do that. But his team has contacted another promotion, Hex Fight Series here in Australia, so they're trying to make that and reschedule it for 2 or 3 weeks' time in the start of April. So yeah, we'll see what comes of it, but that's sort of where we're at. So it's obviously it's been a crazy couple of hours here. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, when you look at it, the situation you were in, you took this chance at a lower weight class on 2 days' notice, man. It's a heavy task for you to be able to cut so much weight, and you had professionals around you. And I'm happy that you have professionals around you, because if you didn't, you could have took the chance and cut the rest of the weight and went into the fight compromised. And when you look at your career and the longevity of your career, you have to have somebody there to make the right decisions with you, right? And I'm glad you made the right decision. I'm glad they made the right decisions instead of 100%. You going in there and you could get hurt, man. Seriously, seriously hurt.
Exactly. Like this situation, if I like, and but also the same thing to me. Like, they know that, okay, you're hard-headed and you're just that person that will just do that. Like, if I needed to, I know I could just push myself and make the weight and then go out there and fight. And even now with with the rehydration cap and stuff like that, like, I was more than willing to do that, but that's going against, the right thing to do. And that's going against these guys, like the guys from the fight dietitian and all these boys. Like these people are professionals. They're the best in the business at what they do, from the lower level right up to the highest level. You see the work they're doing. So it would be disrespectful to them to go against that and try and do something knowing that it could have a detrimental effect on you. And like I said, I can understand my opponent's decision and his team's decision. And even then, when they offered that out to have the cap on the rehydration and all that sort of stuff, I could understand that and I respect that. Like I said, I don't have any sort of ill will against them or anything like that. The only sort of thought process on that is, it's like, okay, well, regardless of that, we put a cap on our rehydration, which I think they were saying was 66 kilos, which is pretty much the featherweight limit, so 145 pounds. Okay, we do that. I weigh in 20 minutes before my fight. I jump on the scale, I'm 66 kilos, the fight goes ahead. Well, I go out there, do what I do, win the fight. Is it gonna be? Is then afterwards, would it be he came down, he was a heavier guy, is that, and then it's kind of puts a cloud over it, because whether it was going to be I walk in there at 145 pounds or I fully rehydrate and I'm 155 pounds, which I walk around at, it, in my eyes, the outcome of the fight, or how I would go, how it sort of would go in my eyes, I don't think a little bit of extra weight would impact that at all. I think it would just be based on my skill level, my ability, the work I'm doing with my coaches, the work I'm doing with my training partners. It's high level, and I'm very confident that I was going to be able to get the result regardless. But in saying that, we got to look at it objectively. We've got to take everyone's point of views in. So I understand, and obviously I'm gutted, but I'm sure it's all going to pan out. So I'm hoping that they can find someone for Saturday, but if they can't, then I'll set my sights on 3 weeks' time and look to sort of do what I do.
With the fight dietitian, they work with science, man, and sometimes,
exactly,
all the time, you cannot go against science, especially when it has to do with your health. Your health is number one, and those guys, they're trying to advance the sport. I know a lot of the guys, the dietitian, I know the fight dietitian, Jordy, and they're looking for your health. They're trying to keep you safe as possible when you head into those fights. So, and on top of that, it's not like you're only fighting once. You have to fight twice in one night.
Exactly.
So that's a different situation, than just fighting once. So, you got to move on, and hopefully they do get you a fight on Saturday night. Hopefully they find somebody for you. But I wanted to get into the lead up to this event, right? Because you were set to fight on Saturday originally at featherweight. And let's talk about it. Let's start with freestyle fight, MMA fight team, right? You went through the tryouts, you made the team, you relocated your family. Talk about that whole transition.
Yeah. So initially, I was talking to Alex Volkanovski like a fair bit, and I was touching base with those things and the potential of going down there potentially, and then doing some training and checking it out, because I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, well, why would I not go down there? Maybe this could potentially be that next step for me. And then I contacted Joe Lopez and the team there, and they were like, I was telling them, like, I'm interested in coming down, checking the place out, potentially wanting to move there. And they were like, oh, well, okay, how about you come down in a couple of weeks' time? I think it was the 5th and 6th of February. They're like, we're doing our fight team tryouts there. You can come down, you can do that, and then you can check out the area, and you can see if you actually want to be here, and you can meet all us, and you can see if you want to actually do that. And then I was like, okay, so I did that. I flew down, did the trials. So it was across 2 days, and they put us through the ringer. Those boys and the team there, like they've obviously they're at the level that they're at and achieved what they've achieved because they do the work. So it was it was really cool. They put us through the ringer with our wrestling, our grappling, our striking. We did our sparring rounds on the Saturday, like the second day we were there. So. And immediately you're getting in there, you're moving around with like high-level guys. You're moving around with Volko, you're moving around with guys like Colby. Josh Kulabau came down, current UFC featherweight. Jamie Malaki, current UFC featherweight. So there was like a high level in the room already, and then you could sort of just get in there, do it. So I just got stuck in, just did my thing, did my best to go out there and have fun and do what I do, and kind of show all my skills and stuff like that. And then the following week, on like the Friday or whatever, I think it was the Thursday or Friday, they got in touch and they were like, hey, obviously if you're successful, we want you to join the team. And then I was like, still kind of a little bit like, I was like, okay, well, this is a big thing to do. Like, I'll relocate my family and go down there. And then my partner Sarah, she was like that last little push. She was like, you've worked so hard to get to where you are now. Your goal that you have is to be a world champion. So like, this is the next step. This is the place you need to be and the people you need to be around. So then it was like a quick process from there. Like, it was over a couple of days. We sort of planned it out. We were like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to drive down. We're going to spread it over a couple of days. And we're just going to make it down there and take the risk and just go for it. So we packed up our car. I've got a 5-month-old daughter, little Juniper. So we drove down and we spread it out. We obviously have a small baby in a car. It's a pretty tough process. So like I said, we did the journey. It was 20 plus hours of driving, nearly 3,000 kilometers. Wow. So it was a big process. Got down here. Didn't even really have a plan of like a living situation or anything like that. We just kind of booked an Airbnb for 2 weeks, and we're like, okay, well, that gives us 2 weeks, and we'll try and find a place. And so that made it a bit stressful, because we're like, yeah, you got to try and find somewhere to live and do all these things. But I'm in camp for a fight, so obviously I have to be training and be down there. And Alex is obviously in camp, getting ready to fight Ortega. So it was like a process of getting down there ASAP, getting stuck in, but then also having that outside stuff to deal with to get sort of settled in. And then we got down there. First day I was in the gym. So I think we got down there on a Tuesday. The following morning on the Wednesday I went in, and the boys had obviously been in camp with Alex for 3 weeks already. So they were already at like a certain level, point and level. I was obviously in camp myself, but like I said, the difference in levels and the work being done is like immense. So I had to like pretty much walk in, and it was like, keep up. It was like, this is where the level is. This is where you got to be. Like, keep up. We don't have time to carry you and baby you along, which was awesome for me, because I just got to get straight in there and just do the work. So, and then you got guys, you got a good team of people there, because they brought in a bunch of guys to help Alex with his camp as well. A couple of high-level guys from around Australia, and obviously Joe Lopez. He's an excellent coach. So straight away they were putting me through the ringer, and the first couple of days it was pretty rough for me to like make those adjustments. But after that, the boys and the team and everyone there were just so welcoming, like to myself and my family. And it felt like immediately, like I've been there for years. Like I just felt so comfortable, and then just got stuck in, So then we were going through the process. We're in camp. We're doing all these sort of things. And obviously we're getting ready to fight this weekend. So it was crazy to just go through that whole process, just go to the trials, come back, and like find out I'm successful, and then just pack up and get down here. So for me, I think it shows like how committed I am to this and how committed I am to getting to where I want to get to, because that's a big sacrifice to make, to like pack up and leave everything and make my partner do the same. It was crazy to just do that, and to be, being where I am now, and like the time I've already had there, I know it was the right decision. She supports me like immensely and believes in me so much, and she's like, it was a great decision, and it's an excellent place like just to live and be, and like it's amazing, like it's beautiful there, the people are amazing, the gym's obviously excellent, the high level coaching and stuff I have there is great, but it means a lot to me that we were able to do that, and I could have that support from my partner as well, because leading into this year, it was a pretty rough situation. Like we were separated from each other. I was in Brisbane. She was up further in Mackay with her family, because her family had some challenges. Her mother recently passed away from cancer. So we were separated while I was still training, getting ready for fights. And there was also, the COVID cloud hanging over. Like we didn't want her to be in a big city while she was like pregnant, and then after she gave birth and stuff like that. So I was flying up there, constantly and trying to be there, but also trying to still get ready and train and fight and do all those sort of things. So for her to then just go, hey, well, let's take this opportunity. Let's do this. Let's go and pursue this. This is your dream. This is your life. This is your goal. I mean, I think that just shows immense character and like qualities that almost show a different level of what being a fighter is, more than what I have to do. My job's simple. I got to go in there, punch the other guy, and maybe take him down, choke him out. But for someone like that to be going through things like that and be battling that after just giving birth recently to, a baby and stuff like that on top of that, it gives me so much strength and just commitment to this. So I know, regardless of how like things panned out now, obviously with Eternal, and even if I don't get the fight on Saturday night, there's going to be another fight. Like I said, potentially there's another fight in 3 weeks, but I owe it to myself, my team, my coaches, my family, and especially to my partner to just like stay on the track, not let this little hurdle affect me, and do what I do, because especially now and where I'm at, like I know I'm going to be a world champion in the sport. Like it's no doubt going to be the track for me.
Yeah, you get there, and like you said, they were in a couple weeks into the champ camp at the highest level, UFC, and you get in there and you see Volkanovski and the mentality, and is it inspirational, man, for you when you see that, and they're willing to bring you in, because a lot of guys coming up, they don't get to experience that.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously, for me to be there and to be training there and to be accepted like that and to be asked to join the team and stuff was just, it's incredible. And like you just touched on, it's at a very high level. Alex is obviously, he's the champ for a reason. And there's so many factors involved, but like the work ethic that guy has, but like his humbleness and just his time for everyone else. Like he's in camp and the guy's still coaching us and helping us and working on things with us. And like, no one would blame that guy if he walked into the gym, trained, and then left. Mm-hmm. He's the champ. Like you should be able to do that. But that's just not who he is. So that guy was just immediately was just like, all right, what's happening? Who are you fighting? What does he like to do? Okay, and then he'd be pulling me aside going, let's work on this, let's do this. Okay, this is what you should do in this position, this is what you should do here. While he's in camp himself, I'm sure he's got a million other things. He's the champ. He's got a lot of media to do and all this sort of things. He's got time with his family. He's got he's got Joe yelling at him all the time, pushing him and stuff like that. So it just shows a lot of like the character of the guys, like, with people like that. And, and obviously the level, like I saw it straight away. I experienced that. And it was kind of a cool feeling, because it's like I felt like at my old gym, Southside MMA, where I was training under Paul Stollier, who's an incredible coach, and the team that I had there is obviously really great as well. I kind of felt like I was reaching my ceiling a little bit. And that's not like saying that, I couldn't progress forward with the team there. It just felt like I needed that next sort of step. I needed that next thing to kind of, that final puzzle piece to complete, and then have like the perfect foundation and everything to get to where I want to get to. So I kind of went from being like a little bit of a big fish to this new pond where I'm not the big fish anymore. I'm at the bottom of the ladder. I'm like, and like there's so many good guys there, and then you've got the champ there. And it's cool for me because it's shown me the level of where he's obviously at and where I want to get to. So I know where that is, and I know what needs to be done. So it's great. It's exciting. It's definitely eye-opening. And it's incredible. Like, you can try and tell people the work that's done there and explain it to them, but unless you see it yourself or experience it yourself, it's like it's so hard to put into words. Like, it's amazing. Like, the best example obviously is his performances in the cage, or the performances of some of the other guys that have been coming in there and working, and like, obviously the boys are fighting. On the 27th, there's a few boys like Alex is fighting. You got Jamie Malaki fighting as well, and people are going to see some incredible things happening inside that cage, and it comes down to the work that's being done there. It's just simple. Get in, do the work. Joe's obviously so gifted with the coaching ability, the awareness for everything, understanding the game so well. And like I just touched on before, with Alex still coaching, still helping out, still being that type of person, it's going to be pretty incredible to see what they can put together. And then obviously I'm very excited to show my improvements that I've made even in this short time. So yeah, it's exciting times, that's for sure.
Yeah, you got Joe Lopez, master splinter, so to say. And I love Joe. I just spoke with him not too long ago. And you got different styles of fighters too there. You got different guys that are at different levels of their career. You got Trent, who's fought in the Middle East. He's fought in Japan. He's fought in all over Asia, basically. And his style is, and his style is different. Then you got the champ Alex, and then you mentioned Jamie Malarkey and Colby. He's also in a different level of his career too. He's starting out himself.
Exactly,
man. And you guys could pick each other's brains, and you guys are starting this, like, I could say you guys are starting kind of a like this mega team in a way, you know what I mean, to where you're just gonna have to add more pieces to it, and the development must be insane. Like, just imagine a year from now where you will be.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like, I look at the improvements I've made just in the short time I've been there, and then thinking about what's going to happen, like you just said, in a year's time, and 6 months time, a year's time, 18 months time. Like, it's very exciting, and it's obviously motivating. And like, it's like you just touched on, there's so many different fighters and like with different skill sets, different abilities at different levels of their career. And to have people there like Joe and everyone else that just kind of can take that and they can build on that and deal with those sort of different people, that's important. And I don't think a lot of people can do that. It'd be a bit like obviously I like my foundation comes from my wrestling and my grappling. So, but I'm always looking to improve in every area. But that'd almost be like if I walked into a Dutch kickboxing gym, right, to work on my striking, that'd be beneficial to me. That'd be awesome because, I'm going to like work on my striking. I'm going to do that. I'm going to improve that area. But I'm not going to get the MMA improvements or the other things. I'm just going to get that one area. Whereas at freestyle, my levels in every area are just going up and up and up and up. And I have so many knowledgeable people around me. And obviously moving forward, I'm going to be working with the guys from Baymed who do all the conditioning sort of programs for all the boys and stuff like that in and out of camp. And that's another piece of the puzzle that I'm getting to add. And it's for me now in my career where I'm at, it's the first time where I'm able to focus on this full time and actually, invest all my energy into it. So I look at what I've achieved up until now, and I'm thinking of like what's going to be ahead, and it's going to be like immensely more and just so much better, just 100% better. So yeah, that's super exciting.
Yeah, the selfless behavior too, you know, of Joe and Alex, it rubs off on you, right? Like they help
Yes.
you want to help the next guys coming out, because you know there's gonna be some youngsters, you know, some guys that are in similar situation when you first came in, and you're gonna treat them the same way. It creates a great environment.
100%. Like there's guys there, some amateurs there and stuff like that, and guys coming up and that. And I mean, regardless, like that's always been a sort of a thing I've liked to do. You know, you gotta if you but in saying that, there's a difference between, you know, helping people out and giving them that time of day where you're going to do that and just doing it, you know, for the sake of doing it, and actually having the intent behind it to see them improve and to see them like utilize what you're sort of telling them and actually like apply it. And that's a different sort of thing, because you've got to really be invested. You've got to like mean the things that you're doing, mean the things that you're showing, and actually like you said, take that time and be selfless. So to already kind of have that thought process and then to go somewhere where everyone's kind of pretty much like that, it just creates a great culture. Like the culture in the gym is like incredible. We were like an example of just the environment, how cool it is. We were doing some of our sort of hard workouts and where, you know, all the boys get in there, everyone's yelling, everyone's trying to motivate each other and pump each other up, and it's loud and everyone's pushing it, like, you know, they're pushing themselves physically, mentally, and it's like this crazy environment. And then across the mat, my partner's sitting there holding my daughter who's watching us do this, and every time everyone's yelling, my little daughter's there and she's trying to like start yelling and get excited, and everyone's pumped up, and it's like people are there, and it's like such a cool support network, but everyone's like there and everyone understands the work that's being done and everyone's behind everyone 100%. So it's a really cool environment. I'm very blessed.